Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. So Supreme Darkness just revealed a bunch of new cards for the Atlantean theme. I haven't covered Supreme Darkness in this channel as of yet for a plethora of reasons. I kind of wanted to wait until the set was completely revealed and then I would have given my thoughts on the set entirely, but I figured since I covered the MERMAIL Atlantean theme very recently, now it's a really good time to bring up Supreme Darkness because of the new cards involving the Atlantean theme. So when it comes to Rage of the Abyss, and when it comes to the new MERMAIL Atlanteans, the deck received a lot of really good cards. It has a good foundation, it has a game plan. The ceiling of the deck really got heightened. However, there were two big problems that were still not solved when it came to the adaptability of the new cards. The first problem is the deck was really fragile with its end board to board breakers. And I know that you might think that because this deck can hand the loop and this deck can have a really good upkeep with the cards that you siphon as part of your advantage. Like for example, we have Totally Awesome while they do while the OCG does not. It makes it easy for just to craft good enough end boards. However, if you don't end up hand looping your opponent, or your opponent hand traps you in a good spot where you just end on an okay board, those boards could have easily been broken and your level of follow-up was not very resilient. The other issue that the deck had is the deck was very weak when it went second. There were no real good engine cards that just were meant to deal with your opponent's already established boards. And you can say that the Atlantean cards are good for the off chance that they have good extenders, but the realistic approach, or the realistic problem, is despite you having good enough extenders, those were not enough to break really standard boards that decks were making nowadays. This deck was very glass cannon on that regard. The other thing is the new Poseidra XYZ, it was just weird because yes, it is a board breaking card. However, there was no real easy way to just make rank 7s or MERMAIL or Atlantean Link XYZ monsters before arriving to that card. So let us show you the new cards and let's talk about what is possible with them. So we do Neptabyss, and with Neptabyss we're probably going to send bodyguards like we always do, and we're going to add Atlantean Dragoons. And now we're going to activate the bodyguards, and bodyguards is going to summon Abyss Pike. And you're probably already seeing it, but we're going to do a Abyss Pike effect. We're going to send Dragoons. We're going to add a Abyss Shrine, which is something that we're already used to. Where is the Abyss Shrine? Here's the Abyss Shrine. And now we're at this point where we always stand. Usually with the Atlantean Dragoons, we add something like Mullen Glacia. But let us start showing the new cards. The first new card that we're going to be adding is Poseidra, the Rumbling Atlantean. So Poseidra is a new level 7 Sea Serpent monster, so it is searchable with the Dragoons. And this effect reads, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks while you control a monster other than Poseidra. You can send one other water monster from your hand or face-off field to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Atlantean or Mermail monster from your deck to the graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So this card is fantastic. This card is super great. The first thing that this card solves is one of the issues of the deck, and is like, what are you going to do if you're going second against an already established board? Poseidra has a self special summon effect that just involves just sending a water monster, so it triggers all the other Atlanteans. The fact that your opponent cannot target it, sadly it cannot target it for attacks. It would have been great if it had targeting protection from card effects, but the fact that you can send an Atlantean from the deck the moment this card special summoned to just bounce a card just applies already too much pressure onto your opponent. Like, imagine just sending your Neptabyss and then trigger this and trigger the Neptabyss, and then you have Neptabyss to bring back the Shadow Bodyguards, and then you have Poseidra to send something. Let's say, for example, we send the Atlantean infantry. Now your opponent has to deal with the Poseidra try to break their board, and if they do that, they now have to deal with the heavy infantry. And if they deal with both of these cards, they have to worry about the Mermail bodyguards, because now we have another XYZ that we can summon besides Abyss Gaius, and this is Babystra, the Atlantean Spirit. So Babystra, the Atlantean Spirit reads, water monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense for each material attached to this card. So as a default, it will have at least 600 attack, and that is for all your monsters. If this card is always sea summoned, you can target one level 7 fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster in your graveyard or summon it. So let's say, for example, they get rid of this Poseidra, you can use Atlantean Spirit's effect and you can bring back the Poseidra. And now, like, this is just another threat on board. These monsters all have multitude of attack points. And then you have the last effect, which is detaching XYZ material from this card to set one Abyss Trap from your deck. We do have older Abyss cards, like Abyss Squall and Abyss Spheres, which are like old Mermail cards. But sadly, I don't think those cards are worth it anymore. I think we're at a point in the game where those cards are a little bit power crept. The format is a little bit too fast for those cards. However, we do have a new Abyss card, and that is Abyss Team. So Abyss Team reads, you can only use each effect once per turn. The first effect, draw cards equal to the number of fish, sea serpent, and aqua monsters you control. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck until the end of your next turn after this card resolves, except water monsters. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, add one Mermail monster from your graveyard or banish to your hand. Okay, so the first thing is you can use both effects in the same turn. So this is really good for follow-up. Let's say, for example, let's say you make the Toad end board with with this guy, and let's say you have the Abyss Stride on board, you are drawing at least 2 cards with the Abyss team. Because you control an Aqua and a Sea Serpent. So that's already 2 draws. Imagine you're using the Abyss Shrine effect, and the Abyss Shrine, it gives you another draw. So that's already a +3. Like, just imagine just drawing like 3 cards out of this, and you can draw cards like, for example, like your Perulias or your Dominus Impulse that we are playing in the deck. Well, Perulia is not mute point, since you can't use the effect, but at least Ash Blossom and Impulse are like good hand traps to draw. So this solves one issue that the deck has, and like you're just drawing into more cards. So this gives you a good level of follow-up. And if by some chance this card's in your graveyard and they destroy your cards and they're breaking your board, you can banish the Abyss team, and you can grab back the Atlantean Spirit. And Atlantean Spirit is really good because with Atlantean Spirit, you can just have access to your Poseidra just for trying to break the board, like on the following turns. Also, the Abyss Stride is an Atlantean XYZ monster, so you can make Poseidra Abyss on top of Abyss Stride, just in case you just want to crack boards that way. You already have Mermail Abyss Chaos as a card that's good going second, so this is a really good XYZ for when you go first. Just being able to set the Abyss team, turn this into the Poseidra, and then just link away the Poseidra for the Neptabyss. Just reborn a bunch of water monsters. I think it's very hard to say if these cards are going to be like exactly what the deck needs in order to just like thrive into the current format, but at least one thing is for certain, and these cards do a very good job at addressing very common problems that the deck has. But yeah, I hope you found this informative to your liking and understanding. More videos coming soon. Keep practicing and keep dueling.